Here we go. Good morning, good morning. Oh, there was a slow countdown this morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Isn't It Time Facebook live show this morning. I'm your host, Sally Thibault. And this morning, we are talking about two things that I see so many women struggle with, and that is value and worth. And it gets to the bottom of everything that's causing grief in our lives. And it always comes back to these two things. So on today's show, as you hop on, say hi. Let me know how you are this morning. As you hop on this morning, I'm just going to be sharing. Good morning, Kim. Good morning. Isn't it warm this morning? My goodness gracious. I think it's 21 degrees at 5:30 when I walked this morning. It's a little warm for the almost, 3 weeks till wintertime. So the bottom line in all of this is value and worth. No matter what we are struggling with, what I've found in my years of working with women and coaching, whether that be for success, whether that be for career, whether that be for weight, it always comes down to this, value and worth. And the thing with value and worth, good morning, Jackie. The thing with value and worth is it shows up in different ways. It's the message you get at 2 a.m., that doubt and that fear, the worry. It masks itself as self-sabotage, procrastination, or overwhelm. It impacts on what we eat and how we treat our bodies. And it influences in particular how we allow other people to treat us. So what I'm going to endeavor to do today, morning Denise, what I'm going to endeavor to do today is to give you a couple of ways towards the end of the show how that you can increase or look at whether your value and worth is elevating. And maybe a few ahas along the way this morning. So just let me know as we go along how you're doing with it, if there's any ahas that are coming up for you. But I wanted to just to share a little story. The funny thing about self-worth is this. Good morning. Oh, cool and raining up there this morning, Denise. We're actually quite warm on the Gold Coast, 21, cloudy, not raining yet, but I'm sure it's going to come. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So it's a precarious emotion, value and worth. You can spend years building your value and your worth and thinking you're going along swimmingly well until something happens. Could be a breakdown of a relationship, could be an illness, could be losing a job, that something will happen and your self-value and your self-worth, your value and worth can come tumbling down. So that's what we're going to be working on today. What are the key issues that you can do to help improve that value and worth if it's something that's really impacting on you at the moment? There's 3 ways that you have issues with value and worth, and they show up all the time. And they are your body, your relationship, or your bank account. One of those 3 will show you, and all of those are, coming along swimmingly. You're doing quite fine. If one is not kind of where you want it to be, then we kind of start to look around that whole value and worth issue. But I wanted to share a story before we go on. So every week before, I always come up with the ideas for the shows on a Tuesday. Savannah. Good morning. This has been showing up for me since the end of last year, consistently tapping on it. Yep. Got it. Yep, absolutely. And as I will share, good morning, Deborah. As I will share later on, it is something that you just hit on. Morning, Sandy. Lovely to have you here. But I want to share a story. So every Tuesday, for some reason, I come up with the ideas for the shows on Tuesdays. I've tried before doing like a month's work or 6 months' work, but it never works for me like that. It always comes to me in a certain place. Great, fantastic, Donna. Exactly what I required. That brilliant. Woo-hoo, there's no accidents in the world. The idea always comes to me at a certain spot where I walk, and then I kind of percolate on it for a while, and then I kind of think, okay, what's going on for me? Oh, it usually is something I'm working on myself, as today's show is, and I think, oh, okay, now that's a good idea, and then sort of as I go on Tuesday, I start to do some research about it, start looking at different ideas, start thinking about how it's impacted on clients in the past and me. Yeah, your Tuesday. I don't know what it is about Tuesday, Sandy. Exactly. It always comes on Tuesday. Anyway, so I'm working on it. And then by Wednesday, I've kind of got an idea what I'm going to do. And I'll do my little blurb about how it's going to end up and sort of work on that for, pretty well most of the day, on and off between working with clients. And then I post it. This week was amazing. So I posted it about 2 o'clock on Wednesday. And at 4 o'clock, I had one of my clients, and we started talking. And immediately, within 5 minutes of us talking, it was absolutely what she needed to hear right then and there. And it was about value and worth. She'd had a huge universe aha Mack truck moment on the weekend, where she the incident was in fact in front of like hundreds of people in a very public event. And she was the way she was treated by somebody. And she was kind of seething on it all weekend and thinking about her. And then we talked about it a lot, and it came down to her value and her worth. And that, I'm often amazed at this process. I wonder, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like, how did I come up with that idea? And then an hour later, 2 hours later, I'm talking to a client, and she needed to know exactly that. So it really leads to the topic of the show. Your value and worth come from one place only, and that's inner work. I wonder, when I come up with these ideas and then you guys hop on and say, wow, this is just what I need to hear this week. Isn't that amazing? Like, it shows to me that I'm connecting to the universal pulse, which is really lovely. Why is value and worth so important? When your intuition and wisdom are aligned, you're not fighting, you're not chasing, you're not overwhelmed, you just know. And when you're in that flow, it's like it just comes to you in this ever-flowing wave. We were having a conversation about this last night. We were out to dinner with one of my client of my husband's, and it's been quite an incredible event. Since we moved to this new location, my husband was given the contract to, within a couple of weeks of moving here, of leasing all the shops in the building next door, which he's done an extraordinary job on. But he's also attracted these international clients. And we were just saying last night how this all happened, how Jerry and these guys met. Just simply, they were walking down the street, literally walking down the street, and said, are you involved in the shops? Yes, and on it went. And now they're doing a lot of ongoing work together. And we were just talking about last night, how does that happen? How do you happen to be walking down the street one day and you bump into somebody who is looking for something, and then you create this relationship and the stars align, and it's ongoing work? But that's when you're totally aligned to your value and worth, you stop the struggle. You stop the struggle and you just allow. It just allows. But what happens when we're stuck in this struggle about value and worth is like we're always looking up. We're always at the bottom looking up. One of the things about value and worth is people treat you not how they value you, but how you value yourself. And when it comes to money, and particularly for those who are on the call today, and if you're in a situation where you are, perhaps in a job where you're looking, if you get a pay rise or you want to get a promotion, or those of you on the call who are coaches, people don't pay you what they think you're worth. I'm going to say that again. People don't pay you what they think you're worth. They pay you what you believe you are worth. Say it again. People don't pay you what they think you're worth. They pay you what you believe you are worth. And so the issue becomes, what is the underlying belief I have about my worth? And remember I said it shows up in 3 places: your body, your relationships, your bank account. And this is not about having massive wealth. It's not about that, because there's a lot of people who have massive wealth and have very low self-worth. This is about having enough money that you don't have to stress about paying the electricity bill or the mortgage. This is about having enough money to do what you love to do, to be doing what you love, to not be in stress all the time. And there's a thing we call balance giving and receiving in our house is that if I am serving a client, the amount of energy that I expend and give needs to be in direct proportion with the amount of energy that I'm received back. If not, I don't feel in alignment. And for those of you on the call who are in jobs at the moment that you're not being paid properly, you know what this feels like. It's like you feel like, doing all this work and I come away and I'm still struggling. Or they just don't get it. And so we shift then into the imposter syndrome. We try to do more rather than just being. And then everything falls apart. It eventually comes apart. It's got to be balanced giving and receiving. And it's all about, not about doing. It's about being. Value and worth is about being. Maya Angelou, remember the late Maya Angelou, fabulous quote. People don't remember what you did for them, but they remember how you made them feel. And when you make somebody feel good and you feel good, there's this wonderful exchange of energy. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute that's so important. All right, I want to move on to the 4 things that you can do to help increase your value and worth. Number 1, big time, stop hanging around with people who make you feel less than. And whether that's in people you're involved with or the people you follow on Instagram or Facebook, every time you hang around or you're with somebody who makes you feel less than, who just is like, and another one of Maya's quotes, yeah, thanks, Donna, I love her too. One of her Maya Angelou's wonderful quotes I love is, being pecked to death by ducks. You hang around with somebody who takes a piece of you all the time. Stop hanging around them. Stop being there. And if you do hang around them, make sure you build your energy back up when you leave. And this is particularly important, I think, for those of you following certain people on Instagram or Facebook. When you're looking at them, remember that you're only seeing a glimpse of their day, but you're not seeing the real person. And a couple of years ago, I made a massive decision that I was never going to hang around with anybody who did not see my worth and value. And that was a huge shift for this Catholic girl who always, gave more. That was a huge shift for me. But I was not going to hang around with anybody anymore that didn't make me feel great when I walked away. I have a close group of girlfriends. We're very close, and when I leave, when we get together, and the energy flows, the conversation flows, the wine flows. But when we walk away, there's always a sense of, I can't wait to be with you guys again, because there's a wonderful bolstering of tribe. And to me, that's really important, because I mentioned at the beginning of the show, your self-worth is a precarious thing. It's like something you've got to work on all the time. And it's like a frog in the pot. I've used that analogy before. You hang around people that don't value your worth, then you begin to believe that. You begin to fall into that. And when you pull away from that, you go, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to allow that person to treat me like that anymore. It's not about them changing, remember? It's about you changing. So when you look around at your at the people that you associate with, when you look at that, look at the people that you are spending time with. Look at the people you are spending the most time with. Do they fill you up? Do they fill you up? If not, you need to reestablish who you are. So I'm going to look at some of these comments and questions that are coming in quite fast. Okay, Sandy, yeah, we're so connected. Right, yep, so connected, absolutely. Donna, because you made the decision to take the walk. Yep. Let's look at Kim. What did you say here, Kim? I've been doing the work, and this week a realization. Went to dinner with a friend. We have not caught up since Christmas. After 3 hours, she said, I've known you 20 years, so I know this time you're making a change. I said, what? She said, you didn't mention your job. We talked together. Isn't that fantastic? Well done, Kim. That's awesome. Awesome. All right. So Hang around with those who make you feel it. Number 2, own your own qualities. Own your own qualities. This is a great exercise. And you have to be careful who you ask this of. And those who are coming to my event in the end of May, we're actually going to do quite a bit of work on this, is to ask those closest to you, what is it they love about you? What is it they love about you and admire about you? And then the second thing is to ask them, how do you make them feel? Now, when you do this exercise, it's remember balance, giving and receiving. So when you ask somebody to sit in this space and listen to what they say, and then do it to them as well. There's a wonderful thing about value and worth. Jerry and I did this yesterday. I said, let's try this exercise. And it was really interesting what he said and what I said. Both, I wasn't expecting what he said, and he kind of wasn't expecting what I said. And it was really a lovely kind of half hour where we talked about what is it I love and admire most about you, and then how do I make you feel? It was just very, very special. I'm going to say this, though. Be careful of who you share this with. Just be careful and just listen to the answers that you get back, so you might kind of figure out whether that relationship's worth it or not. Number 3 is to embrace and accept your body and intuitive eating. This is the one thing. It's when I got this at a cellular level, about embracing the art of intuitive eating, allowing my body to make the decision about what I needed to nourish it, not listening to anybody else, not handing my power over to somebody else. It's not about not doing research. Research is okay, but it's then looking at what does my body really feel like? And when you learn to honor that decision, honor that you have the wisdom, the intuition, the power to make that decision, everything changes about you. It's because you honor that strength of you, that wisdom of you, that everything shifts. And then looking at how are you honoring this one thing, this one vehicle that does so much. And for many of us on this call that have birthed children, grown other human beings inside of us, that have carried kids in the middle of the night when you can't see anymore, that have fed them, that have honored them, that have held people's hands, that have hugged others. It's a wonderful thing, our body. And yet we struggle with this. We struggle with it. The Reclaim You event that I'm doing at the end of May is all about this. It's all about how do we honor our value and worth by the one thing that truly expresses who we are, our body. And where our body right now is, where it is right at this very moment, tells you how you value it. What you eat, what you don't eat, whether you exercise or you don't exercise, whether you wake up in the morning and you jump out of bed and go and meditate and journal and tap and exercise, or whether you lay in bed and scroll through your phone, tells you your own value, tells you. So just a quick thing, if you're interested in the event coming up in May, why won't that show? There it is. I'm going to put links afterwards in this. The Reclaim Your Body event in May, end of May, 25th, 26th. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be focusing on how do you embrace that whole aspect of you, your body, your value, your worth, so you truly can live that bigger dream. That's what we're going to be looking at. And the one last thing that I'm going to share before we tap, we've got 10 minutes to go. How are you doing? I'm going to come back to the questions in a minute. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. You are enough. The only person you need to compete with is yourself, nobody else. To learn one new thing each day, to challenge yourself to be physically stronger, to be more peaceful, to be more insightful, to be more joyful. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Just be kind to yourself. You are enough. You are a human being and you are enough. Your value and worth is what you are born with. You know, you look at your children now, you look at now, you know, to think we speak to our children so differently than probably many of us were spoken to. You know, a lot of my value and worth was around who do you think you are? What makes you think you're so special? I have a client and friend and we speak every week and we were sharing, you know, memories of primary school and, you know, the fear of the nuns and all you could hear was the rustling of this black cloth and the rosary bead clanking and probably a ruler in their hand. You know, it was a very different era than what we grew up in. And so sometimes we have to claw back, reclaim, as I said, this is reclaiming who you are. This is about your value and worth. Let me go to your comments, messages. Kim, I realize that my job does not define me and the self-worth to enjoy who I am. Totally right. Yeah. We bring our value, who we are, to any organization or our clients or our relationships. Who we are, we bring it. And how we're treated is how that's our worth, our own self-worth. And in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, very close friend, and we're talking about value and worth. And she said, I don't have trouble at all with asking for what I want, asking for how much money I want. I'm like, gee, boy, that's amazing. You know, she grew up in a very, very different environment. Denise, Dr. Dan Siegel has a great YouTube on epigenetics and how thoughts change the chemicals in our body and brain. Great to listen to. Thank you. That's great. I'll actually look at that. Thank you, Dan Siegel. And all right, great to listen to. Our thoughts change the chemicals in our body and our brain. Joe Dispenza does the same thing. Really, really, really powerful. What did we say last week? Anywhere from 60,000 to 90,000, whoever counts the thoughts in our brain. Most of them are negative and most of the same as you had yesterday. So I can share this with you today about reclaiming your worth and value because it was a big thing for me this week. I hit on a big, big, big issue for me, and it was funny how it was showing up for me. And it went back to when I was in primary school, when I was in grade 1. A memory I had of not feeling like I was good enough. Interesting, huh? Once you cleared it, wow, what a difference this week made. Huge, huge, huge. So that's what the key is. The minute you clear it at a cellular level, not just thinking about it, but actually clearing the issue in your body. Once you clear that issue in your body, because that's where it sits, okay, the feeling, the emotion sits, it's what you feel. I'm tapping, I'm always asking you how you feel. That's what it is. That's what it is. So just quickly, if you can't make the event, but you really want to have a chat about this, you know, book it for a strategy session. Spend 30 minutes with me. See if I can help you. Let me see if I can get to the root cause of what your thing is, what's going on. Fantastic. All right. Denise, what did you say here? I'm going to move on to a tapping now. This was a big issue for me this week as well. Wow. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? We're all connected at some level. And you know what? I just got a thought then. Because we're all connected at that level, when we all elevate, we elevate others. That's true. You all talking about it. So on today's show, this is a big issue for all of us this week. So when we clear it for everybody else around it. Isn't that interesting? Interesting stuff. All right, let's do tapping. Shall we? Shall we tap? Let's do it. All right. I want you to measure on a scale of 1 to 10 and be really honest here. Remember, I can't see this. Only you can. On a scale of 1 to 10, there's a part of you that doesn't value your worth. Could be your job. Maybe you want to ask for a pay rise and you haven't asked for it. You have fear around it. Maybe you're a coach and you want to put your prices up. You don't know how to do it. Maybe it's just in the way you allow somebody to treat you. Remember, allow someone to treat you. Nobody treats you unless you give them permission to do so. All right, measure that. Scale of 1 to 10. Measure it where it's in your body. Mine's always in my stomach, so I'm going to say that. All right, here we go. Ready? Even though I know sometimes I don't value my worth, I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though I know I don't value my worth, and it's impacted in so many ways in my life, I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though I struggle with valuing my worth, I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Here we go. I know I don't value my worth. Sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. I really struggle with my value and worth. And I can feel it. I know I give my time away. I give my expertise away so easily. To ask for what I want is really hard. I get so frustrated. I know I hide my value. It doesn't feel right to ask for what I want. What will they think of me? I know I don't value my worth. I am my own worst enemy. If I ask for what I'm worth, what will they think of me? I know I don't value my worth. Okay, take a deep breath. Let it go. Okay, now the deal with this is, just think about, see if you can find patterns of the past where you've not valued your worth. Stories where somebody said something to you. You got to find it. You got to find the pattern, because it goes up and down through the years. Some days you'll be great. You'll have a great day, and then so find the pattern. See if you can link the people that remind you of people. That's how it works for me. All right, let's do a reframe, shall we? Measure on a scale of 10. As I'm going to say, you don't do the reframe until it's about a 2, but if it's not, keep tapping. Let's do the reframe. Even though I have not valued my value and worth in the past, I choose now to honor my worth and value. Even though I've not honored my worth in the past, I choose now to step into my own power. Even though in the past I've not valued my worth, I choose to live my life now. Because if not now, when? Okay, tapping. I choose to honor my worth. I choose to put myself first. I choose to honor my value and worth. I choose to know I'm worthy of this. I forgive those who've taken my worth away from me. I forgive myself. I choose to change this right now. I choose to honor my worth and value. Okay, just take a deep breath and let it go. Let me know how you went. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Denise, big issue. Oh, hi, Sally. Didn't see you there. Good morning. This is a big issue for me this week, Denise. Yeah. Something came up and I didn't react. I knew then that it no longer had power over me. Nice. That's how it is. It's how it works. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Nice stuff. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call. Remember, I'm going to put the links in here, the Reclaim Your Body event. If it's like, I want to see if this is right for me, book a call with me. And as I said last week, look, I know how many times you've done things and, it might not be for you. But, let's have a chat, see if it is. Or if you can't make the event, still like to have a chat, maybe see if you can work with me. Just booking for a strategy session. Love to chat with you. All right, my lovely friends, have a wonderful, beautiful, it's a long weekend here in Queensland for those who have a job. Everybody else, it's a long weekend, so enjoy this wonderful time. Thank you, Deborah. Good to see you again. Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday on the Isn't It Time Facebook Live show. Until then, have a brilliant week. See you then. Thanks, Kim.